All right, man. So we've been talking about all kinds of cool stuff, man. We've been talking about the weapons and patterning the guns and all that. We've been talking about blinds and turkey chairs. Let's talk about some other cool gear.
Yeah, you got more pockets to put stuff in, right?
Right.
We're not completely weighted down yet. Let's get going. Now, first off, of course, with the blinds, we've already discussed, whether you should wear black or camo. Now, if you're not hunting out of a blind, obviously you should wear camo. Anything you can do to get those eyes to not be able to pick you up is going to help you out. And that's full from head to toe when it comes to turkeys.
Right.
Some people will use leafy pattern, silhouette edge type stuff, and that's awesome, or ghillie suits even. But even just your standard camo pattern, something that breaks you up so they don't instantly lock up onto you, makes a big difference. Right here, this is another thing that's really important. Wear a camo hat, and there's ones that come with face masks already included, or a face mask that you can wear underneath it.
Yeah.
But definitely get something over your face, because that's the part of you that's going to be moving the most and the easiest thing for them to pick up. So what else do we have here?
Yeah, and you can use face paint as well.
Yeah.
You don't have to have that, but just like you said, make sure that you're completely camoed from head to toe. So let's talk about binoculars for a little bit, because like we keep mentioning, hunting Indiana, we hunt Michigan, Ohio, surrounding states as well. There's certain times where I don't personally want to be dealing with extra weight. So there's certain situations where I'm not a big fan of carrying binoculars. We'll give you some examples. There's other times where we're both big fans of having these. So we hunted Kansas, we get up top. If you're hunting with a buddy, one of you should have a pair of binoculars, because you get up top and you can see long distances, or you're hunting those Merriams or those Rios out west where you can see a long ways away. You definitely want these with you. You're driving around scout and you're in the truck, keep a pair in your truck. But like for us, if we're hunting 10 and 20 acre woodlots with the field over here, we don't necessarily know. We can pretty much pinpoint through the human eye, through experience, if that's a tom out there with some hens. So we don't have to depend on this as much. But yeah, man, bought a pair of Vortex Crossfires last year. Absolutely love these things. And yeah, just know your circumstances, know where you're hunting. If you feel like you need a pair of binoculars, great extra thing to have for sure.
Yeah, it can make a big difference. That thing that appears to be a bush out there with the naked eye, you may find out it's a tom in full strut trying to call in some hens.
It's happened before.
You're back in the game again.
You bet.
So yeah, that's definitely a good point. As far as other things too, when it comes to eyesight, in the morning when you're getting ready in the dark, you're sitting at the truck or you're in the blind trying to get things ready, headlamp, may seem kind of obvious, but having a headlamp around can save you a lot of issues of having to walk a ways before you get to where you're going to set up at. It can keep you safe in the dark, so you're not tripping, starting off the hunt bad. So face mask, or flashlight, is a big thing to help you out there.
Yeah, once you get inside that blind, you can kick that thing on. Walking into the woods, though, call us weird about stuff, but a lot of guys, they recommend the red light. So we recommend a headlamp with the red light on there, because there's a lot of different science and theories behind it, but a bright white light walking through the woods early morning is not natural, and so anything that looks unnatural to the birds could raise a red flag. So we have situations where we might have roosted a bird prior to that next morning hunt. We know they're there, we heard them gobbling, or we saw them fly up the night before, and we want to slip in. We want to get in there as quiet and as natural as possible. So a lot of times we'll go lights out, but once we get in the blind, we're setting up camera gear. So if you guys are filming hunts, getting into that type of thing, just carry a headlamp with you, man, because it helps out. Simple thing, but makes a difference.
And on the subject of walking in, slipping in, getting to your setup, boots, it makes a big difference to have a good pair of boots. A lot of times in the spring, there's been a lot of heavy rains. The fields can get muddy or wet. So if you can have waterproof boots, it makes a big difference. They don't have to be, knee high. Just something that gets over your ankles helps a lot, keeps you from getting sprains.
Snakes are out a lot in the spring.
Exactly.
They're getting warmed up.
Yep, good pair of boots, and of course there's a wide variety, from affordable to really expensive, and they all have their features and benefits, but a good pair of boots goes a long ways for getting out there.
You bet.
Once you get set up, we've mentioned this already in the video about the turkey chair, but this goes for anything, whether you're running with a turkey chair or using a blind or anything like that. Having a little pair of pruning snippers that you can cut some branches
Right.
and poke them in the ground around you. If you're just, leaning up against a tree, makes a huge difference in breaking you up and concealing you better. So it's always good to have a pair of those in your turkey vest,
Yep. Let's see the turkey vest.
which is right here.
Excuse me.
This is not something that you have to have, but man, it's one of those, in my opinion, I would consider it a necessary tool.
Yeah.
When it comes to like using calls and stuff, which we're going to cover in a module all on its own, when it comes to using calls, these are so handy in being able to organize and carry so many different types of calls in different areas and provide good access to it. Plus, on top of that, you can throw decoys in the back, for running and gunning,
And hopefully
and hopefully a turkey.
a turkey.
Unless you're going to get it mounted, don't put it back there.
Yeah. Good
But
point.
we'll cover that later on.
Yeah.
So they also, most of them come with some type of pad that can drop down and fold down if you're just sitting on the ground rather than using a turkey chair. So turkey vest, definitely highly worth the money that you're going to spend on it, and they last a long time as long as you take care of them.
Yeah. Yep. Great tool. So there's a lot of times too where, believe it or not, Marty and I like to hunt together quite a bit for turkeys. And, sometimes he'll wear the vest and I won't wear one. And the reason is because he has one, it's all set up with calls and whatnot, but I carry like a large camo duffel bag. And sometimes I'll put, our different camera bags and stuff in there. I might put like a small bag, put some snacks in there. And then the duffel bag's big enough that I can usually stuff like 2 or 3 different decoys in it. So I'm typically in charge of carrying that. He'll take his turkey vest. It works out great. So if you got a hunting buddy, hunting partner, you guys figure out what's going to be the easiest and lightweight setup possible to make it hassle-free when you're out there. Just make it comfortable and enjoy it.
Yeah.
So speaking of comfortability, one thing I think we need to talk about next is one thing that just ticks me off.
Oh, I'm
What's
good
that?
at this. I'm tick candy.
He is the magnet.
Yeah, for some reason, ticks love me. They've got stuff out now, and we're going to be trying it out this year, called tick repellent. Of course, mosquito repellent. Everybody's used to that. On the shelves now, you can find tick repellent, and believe me, this guy's going to be trying it this year.
Trust me.
That time of year, that is the biggest time for ticks to be out and about. Of course, Lyme disease is a serious thing that you have to worry about. Plus, who wants to be picking little parasites off you all day?
Yeah.
So
Oof.
that would be another thing. And again, we'll know more about how well it works and the different brands here in the future. But tick repellent could make a big difference, as well as once the mosquitoes start to come out, mosquito repellent too.
Yeah, I mean, we use Stormacels. You can throw one of them in the blind if you're not out running and gunning, and those things work great. So highly recommend it. Everything we're talking about here too, and we can go into more product stuff, but we've taken the time to create kind of a quick start checklist, if you want to call it that. We're attaching different links and everything, and we're trying to find the best deals for you guys as well, so we're not putting a bunch of the most expensive products in there. We're trying to make it show you guys, hey, you're on the shoestring budget. There's great, when it comes to different decoys and stuff, there are some higher end stuff, more expensive decoys, but we're putting both in there for you guys to be able to make an educated decision on these products. So hopefully that's convenient for you. But yeah, we can go into a bunch more stuff as you want to go or whatever, but always carry your first aid kit. You never know when something's going to happen. Yeah.
One other thing would be a knife too. Number one, if you're successful, and you decide that you want to field dress it out where you're at, then you've got your knife with you. But also along the lines of the first aid kit, something happens. You fall, and now all of a sudden you find yourself needing to make a splint or, God forbid, get cut.
Tourniquet or something crazy.
Yeah, tourniquet. Yeah. It's hard to make that stuff without being able to cut some fabric. So always have a pocket knife handy, just in case. Have it part of your first aid kit, just in case something happens.
Yeah.
So those are just some things that are on the top of our mind when it comes to other gear to have with you. Of course, calls and decoys is a huge aspect of turkey hunting, and like we've mentioned, we're gonna have stuff completely dedicated to that, lessons completely dedicated to calls and decoys coming up here for you.
Yeah, so below this lesson, check out the checklist that's provided for you and pick and choose what's best for you.